Hey, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys coming in. Looks like we got a lot of comments to get to here. House of Orange Sports Channel live for the last time this baseball season. Tennessee got it handed to them today. Let's just face it. And I got a few things that I wrote down here that really kind of stood out to me. I'll get to here in a minute. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. If you know anybody, just share it out. Be greatly appreciated on that as well. But this one ended in merciful fashion. Of course, the Arkansas pitcher, I saw he got his last words in there. I guess what can you do about it, though? Really surprised that the Tennessee team, I thought they would show up today, and it was just off from the get-go. And the announcers pointed out the way Doyle come out, he was just real methodical, and that was not Liam Doyle. And normally this team feeds off of his energy. It wasn't there. This team, to me, had no fire this weekend. They had no fire in them. They just went through the motions on it. And a lot to talk about here. We'll talk about, of course, today's game. We'll talk about the season, and we'll look ahead kind of the next season as well as to what could be some potential lineups, what they need along the way also. But I said I wrote down some things. So to me on this one, let me hit your comments here so I can get through it and see if any of you pointed out, saw some of the things that I did here along the way. This was an interesting call right here. This was an interesting call on that one. I've seen a lot of debate on it about pulling Doyle, and a part of me gets it, but at the same time, too, I think I'm riding with that one. But in that sequence of an inning, here's a couple of things that I wrote down on it. Tennessee and their fundamentals, once again, they could not execute a rundown. Andrew Fisher stays at the base, or he come up too far. I thought Curley threw it at the right time, but Fisher came up too far and the guy got around him. If that's executed, you're out of that inning. They called it 2 wild pitches. Those were 2 pass balls. Peebles made no effort to get over and block them. And I know yesterday people were saying, well, if we'd had Peebles, maybe that one run wouldn't have scored. Lawless, to me, showed yesterday he can get over and block those pitches. That's been a problem with Peebles all season. That outside pitch, him not getting over. And part of it's his stance where he's on one knee and the leg out. That's a thing. It's been a thing for a bit now. But to me, if you got runners on, you need to be more active back behind the plate. And there's no way he's going to be able to get over and block those balls when he's on a knee and got a leg straight out. I get it if there's nobody on, but if somebody's on base, you've got to be more active doing it. I know it's a new method that's been around. It's been around at least a few years now. I don't know. Just don't agree with it. But a lot of people question Vitello. Tony Vitello looked back at today and probably wish he had some decisions. He'll look back at the season in general and wish he had some decisions back on it. One thing about it, we knew coming into the season that this team lost a lot from last year. There were people trying to say, we won't miss much offensively. I said, there's no way. It's not going to be close. And this team was not even in the ballpark. They were. I would put there's been a few better offenses under Vitello than this one was. And, it's just too much relying on 1, 2, and 5 to get the job done. 3, 4, and 6 disappeared off season. 7, 8, 9 had their moments on it. I think it was an interesting look at the end when you had the pinch hitters and you see a guy like Chris Newstrom and Jay Abernathy, both who they wouldn't put on the field, yet they turned on a pretty good pitcher. Newstrom turns on 99 on a full count. Abernathy drove the count, and then Arkansas guy hung one. They put it off the scoreboard. Interesting look when you had a couple guys struggling and not coming out of the lineup. And I know it's just one at bat, but that was not against a bum pitcher. All right, that was a good pitcher if they hit him off of. But, I get I kind of get why they loaded the bases because that guy already hit one. And well, you had the pass ball too, and they didn't want Doyle to face Arkansas's main guy. But I don't know, man. I think at that point, especially he's only at what, like 75 pitches. I'd have had a hard time not riding or dying with Doyle on that. Just my opinion, though. But hindsight's 2020 as well. Krenzel, I think, brought the right set to come in with the way he throws the breaking balls and stuff. But the fact that it was just the third inning, it was still a tight game at the time. The third run should not have scored. Again, you execute a proper rundown, you're out of that one. I mean, the inning before, you get the bases loaded with Fisher coming up, first pitch double play, that's inexcusable on it. Fisher couldn't execute the rundown. Again, the 2 pass balls. We had 8 walks today from our pitchers. What happened with that? Come back to bite us. And again, I was really disappointed that this team just, to me, and maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I'm not seeing the dugout a whole lot. I just didn't see the fire in this team. And I think part of yesterday, Fisher and his antics was probably trying to fire the team up. And I don't know, man. It's just tough. But okay, let's put this one to bed. That was, what was it, an April Fool's joke? It was an April Fool's joke, I'm pretty sure, on that one. It is not serious. You don't see college guys who take major league jobs. You just don't. Maybe they bounce back and forth assistant. Well, maybe I'll be wrong because I think Snitker will be gone after this season, but I would be really surprised on that. And again, when that come out earlier, that was like an April Fool's joke. It was not serious. I would totally expect you're going to see Tony Vitello back at Tennessee next year. Let's see what else. Yeah, this was a big one. Arkansas, man, they got the first batter on a lot. I don't think it's a coincidence either that the 3 starts here recently that Doyle went second on the weekend, he didn't have it. And I don't know if he's a guy that it may just be coincidence, but when he went, of course, it was all due to that debacle on Friday night against Auburn. But then he comes back, on Sunday to get the win. Then he went second against Arkansas. They lit him up the first time. Then he went second against Texas in the SEC tournament. They hit him pretty hard and put him out early. And then this happened again. He was back on his regular rotation last week. He looked pretty good. And it's really hindsight, you look back on it now. When he come in last week, and we were all fired up about it, said it was the right thing. But with a 5-run lead now, was it? I mean, I don't know. But, yeah, when it boils down to it, the hitting didn't get the job done. 2 hits yesterday. They did have 8 today, but, I mean, they were too little too late. I mean, 2 of them come in the last inning. They're 2 freshmen that you could argue should have gotten more opportunities. Didn't. They come in and kind of made that look a little interesting. And it was kind of a home run or bust lineup, and they certainly busted this weekend. I'm not going to – you guys are welcome to chat on the players. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. It was just this point. I mean, I will say that. Like I said, that I'll just say that, there were spots in the lineup. Yeah, I was wrong. I was totally wrong on that. I thought they would come out more. I thought with Doyle coming out on the mound, they would feed off his energy. Unfortunately, they did. He didn't have the energy today. Let me hit some more here. Yeah, now we're on pretty much a dead period until football season. Here, this is pretty much the end of the college athletics season. I guess the full year calendar, you could say. Hey, I'm not going to apologize for having faith in the team. All right, I'm just not. So, I mean, you can crack on me for it. I would say it again on it. If I had to say, I thought this team would come out today fired up, especially after everything that happened yesterday. And Arkansas just punked them this weekend. That's what happened. Arkansas talked crap. They backed it up, and this team didn't do nothing about it. They just did nothing about it. They sat there and took it, and they're going home for it now. Tim Bradley, member of the channel, he pretty much summed it up. Well, that sucked. I agree with that. I mean, it was a weird season. It was a weird season to me. I don't think you can ever say making a super, especially like Kyle Beach says here, we're the first national champion in the last 6 years to make a super. Still yet it there's a feel of disappointment just because of the way things transpired to happen this year. But the bottom line, you go back to, I think that day Texas A&M beat them twice. That team never recovered from it. They never played consistent good baseball the rest of the way after that. And you lost, 4 straight home series in the season, 6 out of your last 7. You had opportunities, sloppy baseball. I mean, here's what happened. You take care of a few of those series you should have, you're not paired with Arkansas. And this Arkansas team, especially if you don't hit, to me, it'll come down. I think LSU will beat West Virginia. I think it'll come down to who makes it out of those two, LSU and Arkansas. Those are probably your 2 best teams right there. But Tennessee, I mean, still not a bad season. I'm not going to sit here and say it was a great season because there was a lot of frustration. But still, it's, as we know, there's teams that would still like to be in Tennessee's position right now. Just the bottom line. I mean, I don't think it was the ETSU. It was the A&M loss was the one I thought did. I don't know about whole year. Bargo was in because he got hot for a while. I mean, his average was pretty good, but here in the postseason, he had a rough postseason. JL says on to football. Yeah. I'll eat crow saying that they beat them, but still, Tony, DVH doesn't have a championship yet, man. I think I'll maintain it. You're calling somebody, we can't beat Arkansas in anything when we play in Fayetteville. We just can't. But Arkansas owns Tennessee, but you know what? Arkansas still not won a championship. So we'll see. Maybe you do this year. You got the team to do it for sure. But I'll eat the crow and say Arkansas is better. But I don't get into that somebody's daddy stuff. That's stupid. It just is. Whatever. I mean, again, when you win the championship, come back and talk to me on it. All right, Arkansas. We can't beat Arkansas anything in Fayetteville. That debacle in football happened. Now we just got lost 4 out of 5 this year in baseball. I can't even remember the most recent basketball results down there, and I don't even want to look them up. Probably be even more sick about it. But hats off to Arkansas. They're a better team. They're the better team this year, and today was really the culmination in that. No doubt about that. So I think it comes back to, it'll come down to Arkansas and LSU. LSU still has to get through West Virginia. We've saw some of these game ones didn't matter. I was pretty shocked to see North Carolina get put out today. I thought they would have a chance to do some damage this weekend and in Omaha, and it did not happen. Arkansas is a better team, Dark Knight. No problem saying that. You poured it on us today. Um, and here's the thing, man. Any Arkansas fans, you're welcome. Talk all the trash you want. Just don't make it personal on it. And I only said on that the comment stupid. Didn't mean it that the person is on it. So um, I'm only a little way through, Dewey. I'm not going to ban anybody for just talking crap. If they make it personal, I will. For just talking trash, I'm not going to do it. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, especially I said yesterday, we're going to Monday. And yep, we're going to Monday, all right, to watch possibly other games. It won't be to watch us. So, yeah, I would agree with this, man. Fayetteville is an absolute nightmare for us. It does not matter the sport. Football this year, I can't remember on the women's side of things. They might have. I'm trying to remember on that one, but thankfully we don't have to go down there for football next year. Obviously, we won't see the baseball schedule, but normally they switch it up each year with baseball. So if it's kind of gone the way it is, we probably won't see Arkansas for a couple of years. But there's not really a rhyme or reason that I've picked up on with baseball scheduling other than playing. They seem to play like Bama, Vanderbilt, Florida, South Carolina each year. I don't know if that will change though, as well, because we didn't play Texas nor Oklahoma this year. We normally don't play Arkansas every year, so it could be at 2 years before we see them again. I don't disagree on this bet. I don't think it would have mattered in Knoxville. Yeah, I think Tennessee would have been a little more fired up, but I think when it boiled down to it, Arkansas is a lot better team. They're better overall pitching consistently, and their lineup 1 through 9. I mean, I said that when I previewed it yesterday. That line or that lineup, excuse me. You go to the end. I think the lowest guy coming into the weekend is like 285. Maybe I saw yesterday it's like 278, but still, yeah. There's not a weakness in the whole lineup, and we saw it got killed multiple times on it this weekend. Tony, I mean, Ozuna was a late pickup, so I don't know. It would have been nice, but we'll talk some of the next year here in just a few minutes for sure. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was a weird season too. It really was. That double play was a killer, man. Because I mean, that's who you want up in that situation. But first pitch swinging on it, probably not. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go back on it again, but I still wonder on Doyle. I mean, but Arkansas, who's to say the same thing couldn't happen on it? I mean, you brought in Krenzel, who started out good, the pass ball, then he hit the batter, and then Russell comes in. And how many times over the years is Tennessee in that high outside fastball got hit for a home run against them? I mean, they said on the announcer said, well, it wasn't that bad of a pitch, but I've seen it too many times for us go the opposite way. It's at the perfect spot, and most of the time when it's happening, it's guys that are throwing high 90s. You just get it up, especially the way the wind was going, it's going to go. And I hate that pitch. I've seen it burn us too many times now, but it is what it is, man. Yeah, last year's team, I mean, were there? I'm trying to think out of the lineup. I mean, Cal Stark was a senior. Other than that, Burt Moore, they were juniors. Curley was a freshman. Amick was a junior. Inslee was a junior. Tears was what, a redshirt sophomore. Dreiling was a sophomore. So it was, yeah, I mean, but you look back on it, man, that was a lot of good players that we lost last year. And to get back to the Super when you're replacing that much is still pretty good, even though it was an aggravating end. But it's this team still had a lot of talent this year, but I don't know, man. Again, I think it's an interesting look at the end. A couple guys come off the bench cold, hadn't swung the bat in a couple of weeks. One turns on 99, and the other one puts one off the scoreboard against a good pitcher, too. When there were some dudes in there who didn't get the job done for a few weeks, but yet we didn't want to make the change on it. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's not going to surprise me at all if Arkansas wins it. Heck of a team, man. I mean, my hat's off to them because they poured it on us, and that was really, honestly, that was the one team I didn't want to be paired with, was them. And when I saw it, it's like, that's why I was hoping Kansas or Creighton could put them out, because I've watched that story numerous times. It always ends the same. Anytime we go to Fayetteville, it doesn't end well. It just doesn't. I don't know what it is, but did we beat them at Arkansas this year in basketball? If we did, I couldn't remember on that. But let's see. We're going to lose most of our lineup too. All right, this dude's out of here. All right, I'll get one out here. Most of them that I've seen so far have been pretty good. There's one that you try to make somebody's unfortunate situation joke. That's over the top. All right, I didn't see this last comment from this one guy, but he took it over the top a little bit. All right, like I said, any of the Arkansas fans, you're more than welcome here. You're welcome to talk crap or whatever. Just don't make it personal. That's all I'm normally. That's all I ask any night. People can disagree or whatever. When it gets personal, I'm just not into that stuff. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's get on that. So let's kind of put a wrap on this season. We'll get to next season. So today, I mean, looking at the game, Doyle had some moments. Comes out in the fourth inning. I think, obviously, again, the two pass balls. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with them being wild pitches because the catcher has to get over and block that. Stone Lawless, based on what I saw yesterday, would have gotten over and blocked both of those pitches because I thought he did a pretty good job catching. And on the one that bounced away, he got in front of it. It just ricocheted off of him. And if Phillips would have been charging in, there could have been a possible play there on it. Not saying they would have gotten him out, but I was disappointed with the effort of Phillips to get to the plate in that situation with it. Again, the rundown today. That's heck of a slide by the Arkansas guy on it. Arkansas, one of the big things I've noticed with them too, they are very, very fundamentally sound. And Tennessee's not. When they go to the off season here, Tennessee has got to go back. This coaching staff has got to go back and revisit playing fundamental baseball. That's something they did not do this year. And you get that rundown out, you possibly get out of that inning 2-1 still, possibly on it. It's a big difference when that's a free out that you just piss away, more or less. Something, putting a wrap on it as well. Things started out well. The ETSU loss happened. I mean, but that didn't derail the team. I mean, they started out, they won 2 out of 3 against Bama. They swept Florida 2 out of 3 against Bama, swept South Carolina, and then, they won at Ole Miss. Didn't even play that well that weekend. There was a lot of sloppy play, and they still won that series. But then you had the A&M debacle. Kentucky ran all over you against it. I didn't. Auburn come in and beat them. Auburn was. You had the LSU where I will say this. I think there was loyalty to some guys this year that there was too much. There were some guys who've been in the program 2 to 3 years that got more opportunities based on that. I guess a lot of coaches do that, but we've seen these dudes in years 2, years 3 make these big jumps when they get these opportunities. And I didn't feel like some dudes did it. I think back to the Trey Lipscombs, who finally got his opportunity, was awesome. Ortega a couple years ago got his opportunity, was really good in there. That's just a couple off of the top of my head that I'm thinking of. But just, it was one of those seasons where, again, you get to the Super, it's still a good season. There's a lot of things I bet they can look back on and say that, yeah, we could have done this differently and stuff. And really the biggest thing was you go back to some of those series in the season and maybe you avoid this matchup with Arkansas going to Fayetteville. Now, if you played them, say, in Omaha or in Knoxville, again, I don't know if the results will be different on it, possibly, but, you got to tip your cap to them, just bottom line. So now looking at going into the offseason, so Tennessee's they added a pitcher this week from Kennesaw State, another one, Bo Rudy, right-hander, pretty good numbers this year. They've added Estrada, the transfer from MIT. They've added Edmondson, the transfer from UNC Asheville. Estrada and Edmondson are draft risks, though. They've got the number 1 JUCO pitcher. They got recently Matt Barr. Probably going to be a risk with him as well, based on what I've seen. He's listed top 150. My big guy, it's hard to get to campus, but hopefully you do with that stuff. Then, of course, you got the commitment from Grinlinger, the catcher out of California, based on everything I've seen. Sounds promising on getting him to campus, but still you got to get him there. And just looking along the way, though, starting with the pitching, you look at your weekend rotation on it. You're losing – Doyle's going to be probably a top 10 pick. Not probably. He'll be a top 10 pick, I would imagine. You've got him. Marcus Phillips will be, I will say, first 5 rounds is where I would put him. Could be. Who knows? It'll be somewhere in that range, I think, on it. Russell, he'll go somewhere. I would put him somewhere around the same first 5 rounds. I think coming into the season, a lot of people thought maybe first round. But hats off to him for getting back this year, too. I don't think he had the results maybe at times, but he'll go somewhere there. I think Arvidsson, I know Arvidsson didn't have a good outing today. He'll go somewhere high enough to where I could see him being easily top 10 rounds, if not, a little higher up in that. Sneed will go. I think Sneed's stock probably took a hit, and he had a rough one today. No doubt about that with it. Tanner Franklin, he'll be, with him throwing the way he does, he'll be gone as well. So, you're going to lose most of your main guys out of this rotation and out of the bullpen. And excuse me. But if you look at it too, I won't pull the roster up. Go along the way. All right, so let's take a look at it. Let me see if I can share it out. Let's see, where are we? Here we go. All right, so looking at this roster, so we'll pull up. All right, so looking at the pitchers, Doyle, he'll be gone. Banky, he's a junior. I would be shocked on him. I just don't see it him being drafted. You never know, though. Arvidsson, with his stuff, he's definitely a draft guy. Sharman, I would be surprised on him being drafted, but you never know with it. He's a durable guy on it. He was mainly weekdays. Thacker, I'm pretty sure he was one that's already hit the portal this week. Of course, Loy will be back next season. He'll be a bigger part of it. Some of these guys, Ryler Smart's a guy. He's a freshman. I've heard good things about him. Be interested to see him next year. Some of these guys who are sophomores or redshirt freshmen that you don't see, I think that's guys to keep an eye on for the portal. Of course, Snead, he'll be gone. Crabtree is a sophomore, so I'm not sure if he is draft eligible or not. Breedlove, a junior. I mean, again, with these guys, you never know. Some of these major league teams may see something in them late. Coons, I think Coons comes back and takes a big step next year. I think the opportunity is there for him next year to come in, have a good off season in the weight room, and do your thing with him. I still question how he was used this year. I thought it was strange because we heard in the fall, we heard in the spring how good he was. And then I know he got sick at the beginning, so that kind of threw things back a little bit. But then he was pitching good. And then, I mean, he's like anybody. Yeah, he's a freshman. He's not going to be perfect all the time. But I don't know. There's other guys that got opportunities, and some of these freshmen had short leashes this year. And I think it come back to bite them in the end. Phillips, he'll be drafted. No doubt about that. Combs, I definitely don't see him getting drafted and go from there. Hayes is a freshman, obviously. And then, Strickland, another freshman. Would be interested to see with some of these guys. Hunley's another guy. I mean, we didn't see much at the end of the year with it. Russell will be gone. Krenzel, true freshman, showed a lot of promise. Anson Seibert is a guy be interested. He was actually Tennessee's highest ranked prospect coming in this year. Pretty sure he had arm surgery on it, so we'll see him, see what he can do. I would look for him probably to be, based on what I've heard, more of a relief guy, but be interested to see him. We saw Nick Abraham some earlier in the year and didn't see him as much. Wiggins was JUCO. I mean, Wiggins got hit in the mouth with the ball. Hopefully his recovery is going well. Martin's a true freshman. Franklin will be gone. And then some of these guys here, Scott, Dumont, Revord. Of course, Revord has got him listed as dual. So he could probably go either way on that. But I think that's some of your guys here as well. Look at those. And then, if you look at the fielding as well. So if we look at our lineup in the field, here's what I think on it, and I could be wrong on it. But I look for, out of our regular 9, the last part, I'll look for everybody but Marin and Clark to be gone. I'll look for Marin and Clark. Obviously, I have my concerns about guys hitting the portal this offseason because I think there could have possibly been some aggravation with some guys not getting opportunities where some upperclassmen got maybe continued to struggle and still got opportunities, yet some of the younger guys didn't. I'm curious to see how that plays out. There will be portal entries, and I wouldn't be surprised to see plenty of them, but I'm hoping that our main core from that freshman class last year, all the guys that showed that potential, I hope they'll stick around with it and see the results of that. I'll look for, Fisher's going to go pretty high. I would think first, no later than second round, probably a first round pick. Keelan, probably same range. Curley, same thing as well. I still think Peebles, Chapman, Bargo will all get drafted somewhere where you probably need to go now based on your leverage and your bonus with it. Could be wrong on that. I'm curious to see how any of them stock may have taken a hit here in the postseason. Bargo was up pretty high, though, in some of the top 100, top 150 draft boards. So I think he'll go high enough. I think his stock might have taken a hit here in the postseason, but Chapman and Peebles are ones I'm interested. But Peebles being a switch hitting catcher, I think he'll probably go somewhere. Again, at this point, when these guys have the eligibility left, with that eligibility left, you've got that flexibility in your bonus. Now you have leverage where you can leverage for more bonus money. And that can be a difference because, I was looking one day, the average salary coming out for some of these guys, especially later on, is like 40,000. So they don't make a killing on it. So if you can make more with your bonus now, because these teams do have that pool bonus money. So that's going to be the key on it to see. And you never know, a guy may not get drafted and he still takes a free agent deal. We've seen, what was it, a couple years ago, there was a transfer catcher. Was it Tennessee Tech was going to be coming to Knoxville, and he chose to sign a free agent contract, didn't get drafted on it as well. I don't think he will. I never say never, but I think you'll see him in Knoxville next year. Kind of interesting now that we didn't see him in the postseason, but it is what it is, I guess. The pitching, yeah, I mean, there's potential. There's potential. I mean, Douglas Graham, member of the channel, coaching staff needs to do some self-evaluation, make the necessary adjustments at their game so the team can improve and get the most out of their talent. I agree. I think we all love Tony Vitello and the staff. They looked at times poorly coached this year, though. We can sit and blame it on the players all day long, but when it's a continuous pattern and it continues to happen, to me, it's got to affect the staff some on it. Looking at it too. So I look at that line again. I mean, Inslee, he's out of eligibility as well. So obviously he won't be back. Be curious to see. Hopefully he'll get drafted and he'll get a shot to play somewhere. But I would look for 7 out of the 9 who's in the lineup at the end to be gone. There'll be position guys transfer out too. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But looking to, so let's look kind of. All right, let's pull that back up here. Obviously, Osuna, I mean, that one's gone. Peebles, like I said, I feel confident saying he'll get drafted high enough to go. Brooks Wright's a dude I'm curious to see what kind of jump he makes because he was hitting home runs in the fall. And I can't remember on the spring, too, but it seemed like we heard a lot of him hitting home runs and stuff. Could be a guy. Could be interesting to watch. Pretty sure he's playing the Appalachian League this summer. Of course, Lawless, I mean, it should be his job next year, the catching job, barring that Peebles does get drafted. Curley will be off to the draft. Antigua, if he comes back, take that next step next year and lock down that shortstop job. Marin, it's a big offseason for him and what he does. If I'm not mistaken, he's draft eligible next year. So a big off, puts more weight on him. He would probably be a guy I would imagine go play in the Cape Cod League. And that's just a guess on my part. Goes and plays some cod ball and then, a good off season for him and he'll be ready to go. He'll be the shortstop or the third baseman. I don't think I would think on that, but we'll see. Keelan will be gone. Fisher gone. If I'm not mistaken, did Martin hit the portal? Jack Jones hit the portal. I know for sure. I'm thinking Martin was one of them that hit the portal this week. Could be wrong on that. Dane Morrow was a guy when I watched him play. I went to one of the fall series down to Smoky Stadium, and he hit a couple bombs. Looked pretty good, so I'll be interested to see him. Newstrom's a guy I like, and I would have liked to see him get more opportunities this year. I would, because he was a guy, he was full of fire, man. He was full of fire, and he had some good at-bats this year, and I just don't think he got the opportunities that he should have. Just my opinion on it. But again, I thought it was pretty impressive. He's not hit in a game in, a few weeks. or so, and he comes off the bench and turns on a 99 and hits a rope to left center day for a double in the ninth inning again, and that was off of a good pitcher too. Looking as well, I had a couple of your comments here in just a minute, guys. I lost my spot here. All right, here we go. All right, so looking now. Let's see, we get down here. Of course, Inslee's gone. I still think Chapman, I know Chapman kind of finished slow, but he still put up numbers that I think still you do at in an SEC conference. Scouts will take notice of that. So he's got a great swing. He really does. Backus has a year of eligibility left, but I don't know that I could see him using it here. I could be wrong on that. So Jackson Walker's freshman was highlighted. He was top 100. Perfect game. I know he's playing in Bristol this summer for the State Liners. He's playing in the Appalachian League. So he's a guy that I'm interested to see what kind of improvement he makes. That one could be. I think he's a guy that can factor in the outfield next year. I really do. Let me look at something here just a minute. Robinson Martin is the one. Okay, I was trying to remember if it was Robinson Martin or Sigler that entered the portal. So Brennan Stiegler, he's an outfielder out of Knoxville. He's a guy. Can't remember if I've seen where he's playing. Abernathy's a dude. I would have liked to have seen a little more opportunity for him this year as well. He's supposed to be a game changer on the bases, and there's times I think we could have utilized that instead of just trying to be all power. But hopefully he's got sticks around too. He can make that improvement. Hunter High is a guy I thought when he got opportunities, he made the most of them. And I've seen some people say that the staff's really high, no pun intended, but they're really high on him. Braden Sharp's a guy, pitch and outfielder. I mean, he was supposed to be a pretty good prospect coming in. Some of these guys I would like to see stick around and, hopefully get those opportunities and take advantage of them. And then looking again, a guy, Reward, I can't remember where I saw he's playing. Blake Grimmer's one I think could take a big step next year. 6'3", 208, redshirt freshman. And, of course, I think Bargo will be gone in Levi Clark. Levi Clark's one, too. I'd like to see him, stick around, have a good, off season in the weight room. And then I think he could be a very vital part of the lineup next year. Now, looking at dog decided to get a toy and play with it over here while doing this. Looking at two, let me pull up. We'll pull up Perfect Game here. We'll look at their rankings. Here's what Tennessee's got coming in now. I'm not subscribed to them. Perfect Game was really expensive. And but here's what I would almost bet on. Carlston will not make it to campus. Schoolcraft probably won't make it to campus. Carlston, some I've seen says Pittsburgh is in pretty heavily on him. All right. Sorry about the noise, guys. I'm getting a sad look now, but it is what it is. Carlston's listed on Schoolcraft. He's another one, probably a first rounder. I have seen here Appenzeller, left-handed pitcher out of Springfield. He ranks highly. I think Tennessee, when it's said and done, has like 8 in the top 100. So it'll be interesting to see which ones of these guys. I've seen Steele Hall projected to go pretty high in the draft. I'd be surprised on him. Grenlinger is rated. He's rated high, but from what I've seen, said that he wants to come to campus. I've seen some people talk about Taylor Tracy really high, that he's got a lot of potential in the outfield. And, just going down the line, this is a very highly rated class. As you go through it, how many of these guys can come in and be ready? Hankins is a guy I'm looking at, 6'5", 220, first baseman. I'm not sure this school he played. I'm pretty sure when he committed, he was at John Battle up in Bristol, Virginia at the time. So obviously taking interest for that. This is a really good class. It'll be interesting to see who makes it in next year. That's going to be the key. Who makes it in for this class? What depth can they provide? And then what do you have to get in the portal? I mean, if we look at it as well, I'll do baseball portal stuff, and then I want to get back into football recruiting here as well. So I'll probably hit some of that this week, football recruiting, since baseball's over. But portal stuff takes precedent on it. Even though I wasn't able to get the video out about Rudy, it's but probably definitely hit football recruiting next. So I'm going to kind of regroup here a little bit. I don't know when or if I'll do any more live on it. I always debate on it, but I almost think it's got to be with baseball and basketball, all or nothing on it. I don't know that I'll do live football in the fall. I say that each year, and then I kind of get the itch to do it. So I'll have to wait and see on that one. I think this year Tony felt like he owed players because of winning. Next year he'll owe them nothing on it. I think there'll be a different approach next year. Again, I think some guys who last year you kind of had that rotating door at DH, and some guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, some guys earned their opportunities this year, but when there were some struggles, especially when the lineup was struggling, it's just an interesting year. It was an interesting year. No, he won't be back, and he could possibly. I mean, if he were to come, here's the thing about it. Russell's, I'm pretty sure, still listed as a junior. Let me double check that. Yeah, he is. So he did get a red shirt last year. So the thing to keep in mind on this is he could get a higher salary on it, but if you don't have any eligibility, that bonus, you have no flexibility with it. Russell, I mean, the plan for him, though, everything I've read was going pro this year. He won't be back. I can't see any of these guys back hardly unless they just don't get drafted. I'd just be shocked on it, to be honest with you. So, I mean, we've got to look at that. I think our catching, I mean, you could see Peebles back. Who knows? I think, again, with a switch hitting catcher, and he's a pretty good catcher. He's not perfect. I don't know what any catcher is, but I think it would be hard for him, especially if he gets drafted, to come back. That one, man, it'll be interesting. That one's a hot debate for sure. A part of me sees it, but man, it's easy to look back now and I totally get it. That's right, guys. If you're watching, hit that thumbs up. I think some of the Arkansas fans come in, and Arkansas fans have been difficult to deal with in football and in baseball. I have to say that. There's been some good ones, but they like to come in and hit the thumbs down on stuff, which it is what it is. But I mean, it's probably possible that they would, based on, I mean, Tony Vitello's the highest paid coach in the sport, based on the upgrades and what they're doing in Knoxville. I think he's being given everything he needs. Unless he just really wants to go back there. I don't see right now. Arkansas is a great job. it's a great job. But based on how Tennessee, Tony Vitello has built up Tennessee, to me, there's nowhere that's a step up. Historic-wise, there may be some, yes. But based on current day and time, the way Vitello's recruiting, the upgrades they made to the stadium, just the support, from what I've read, they have some of the best NIL support for baseball that there is. I mean, Arkansas would probably be crazy not to come after him. I think A&M would have made a hard play for him if they would have gotten rid of their coach, which they didn't. But Vitello's in demand. He's still in demand on it, even on a quirky season like this when they still make it to the Super this year. Yeah, I would like to come down and catch some. I need to look at some more of the rosters to see who all's down there playing. And I'll be curious to see now with your only Tennessee guys you've seen so far. I know Mike, Walter State commit, he's playing for the Axemen and Kingsport. But I'll be curious to see if any guys now that the season's wrapped up for Tennessee, any of these dudes possibly go play in the Appalachian League this summer. Yeah, I'd like to come down and watch some games. I went to a Johnson City game last year. Johnson City would be the closest for me to come down. But, I mean, the whole area is pretty close. Now, I don't know where Bristol's playing. I heard they were having an issue with finding a field, something with maybe they played at Tennessee High's field. Now there's something going on there. So I don't know where Bristol's exactly playing at. But, you know, that's City Bristol for you. They can screw up a lot of things. And if they don't watch it, they won't have an Appy League team either. I think next year's team can be really good. I think we've got a lot of talent coming back next year. You're going to have to hit the portal. I think you need some power. You're going to have to go get some power. But we'll see. Again, I'm curious to see how he translates over from Walter State on it. I think that he's an interesting one as well. Definitely, you know, JUCO Player of the Year, almost a 500 batting average, 37 bombs, over 100 RBIs. That's incredible. How does that translate over? I'll be interested with that. Yeah, I mean, I would be really surprised Vitello left, man. I really would. I can't see. And again, I know the Brave stuff. I'm pretty sure that was an April Fool's joke that got put up. It was some kind of a joke. It was not serious on it. What's up, David? Good to see you in here. You know, it makes it. I'm in the minority on this. When we get the crap kicked out of us, it makes it easier for me to come on and not be as amped up because I make peace with it. And we got the crap kicked out of us. It was the same thing when we played Ohio State in the playoffs. We got the crap kicked out of us. So it's like there wasn't, you know, in a one-run game, a couple runs, it's a little easier to be amped up. But, I mean, we got our teeth kicked in today. That's the bottom line. We got beat in 2 games. Tipped the cap to Arkansas. They were the better team. And, you know, a few things here or there could have changed things. Bottom line, we didn't hit the baseball all weekend. We didn't hit it. They did. I mean, they had, 10 hits yesterday. They had – what they had today? They had 10 again today. I mean, they had 8 walks. They made – it felt like they made all of them pay. I mean, none of our pitchers really had an outstanding – I mean, Franklin went 1/3 and got an out, but Doyle 3 2/3, 5 hits, 5 runs. They were earned 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Again, we can debate on that one a lot if he should have been pulled or not. I think I get it to an extent, but at the same time, man, we talk about him being our guy at 76 pitches. I'm probably riding with my guy there, but yeah, again, it's easy to second guess based on the results. Krenzel faced the 1 batter, no outs, 1 run, 1 earned. Russell 2 1/3, 1 hit, 1 run. It's earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for him. Sneed went 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks. Rough outing for him. Arvidsson, 2 batters, 2 walks. Loy was okay. He gave up the 1 home run. He went 2 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run. So I wouldn't. He was decent. That's been his really kind of his type of outings recently. And then Franklin finished it off there as well. So, I think next season's team has a lot of potential. I really do. I think that I really think that there's a lot of potential there. Again, I'm curious to see how this portal season plays out. I'm just kind of wondering because I would imagine there's some guys probably not too happy with playing time this year. And it's tough too. It's tough. You come in highly rated to it, and maybe you don't get what the playing time that you hope for along the way. So I can't sit here and act like I know how these guys feel or anything. I would probably be more disappointed in guys if they weren't upset about not playing. If they're just there just to take in the scenes and not upset about it, I'd probably be a little more upset about that. If a guy's pissed off because he's not playing, that tells me he wants to play and he's got it in him. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't, but I don't know. The whole thing was a joke, especially when the thing that got me about it is he inquired with them before transferring and they made it sound to him like he would get approved. But I think he could have helped. I mean, he's done it at North Carolina. He's done things there. I mean, North Carolina, again, one of the really best programs it is. I was shocked that they got put out today. An Arizona team we actually beat earlier in the year, but he could have helped for sure. But I wonder how they would have. I don't know who that puts out in that case, but I think Coons will be back. Never say never. Never say never. I think he'll be back though. I think he'll be ready to go on it. Here's one thing I go back to on this, and yeah, it stinks. Again, I question how he was used this year. I do go back to 2022. Think about how Drew Beam did that year. Drew Beam was really good in that Sunday role or Saturday, depending on what day it was. And then I think maybe his innings got up. Now, that wasn't the case with Coons on it. The innings, they didn't give him the innings this year, nowhere near it. But you got to the postseason, and Beam didn't pitch in the regional, nor did he pitch in the super regional that year. Chase Burns didn't pitch in the regional, and then he threw game 3 against Notre Dame. You look at Beam come back sophomore year, and then last year, he was a solid, good pitcher here. I think Coons has got a ton of talent on it. A good off because next year's his draft year too. So I mean, I know they'll have exit interviews along the way. I think it's set up for him to be a Friday or Saturday guy next year. And I just, again, there was a lot of weird. I thought there was a lot of quirky decisions this year. I'm not going to sit and lie about it. There was stuff I didn't get. Coons' usage was one of them. They just didn't. It seemed like he'd get in a little bit of trouble and they wouldn't let him pitch through it. And how's the guy? I mean, he did. One of his first outings was against Xavier midweek. And he plunked 2 guys. I think a guy got a hit, and then he plunked 2, and then he worked out of it. I know Xavier's not SEC, but you still, regardless of the team, you got to work out of trouble on it. They didn't allow him that at times, and then still the Vanderbilt. The first time we played Vanderbilt, he's cruising along. You just point him out for no reason on it. It's just weird decisions this year. And again, I hope some of these decisions with how they used younger guys doesn't come back to bite them, because there was just so much inconsistency that I don't know. I mean, I have my thoughts on it, but I don't want to go too far with them. I'll just say I thought there was a lot of strange decisions this year from it. But again, coach won the national championship. It's not like they all of a sudden forgot baseball this year. They didn't. It was, I mean, you could look at too, they replaced a lot of guys to it. I would venture to say that staff will bust their hind ends this offseason to get things back to where they did. I can assure you, and I've seen it put out there, that this staff's probably even less ecstatic about how it ended than we are. And I know we're all pretty disappointed by it, but I'd say they were pretty upset by it too. Yeah, and he'll reload. They'll be reloaded and ready to go. Now, I mean, there is a lot of uncertainty. You don't have, where would we have been without Keelan, Fisher, and Doyle this year? Where would we have been without them? But you see guys like Phillips take that step that he took. That was big for us. You see, I'm trying to think, your guys like Bargo, Chapman, Inslee, for the most part, had a really good season. He had a rough postseason, but he was really good most of the season. Bargo in SEC play was really good. Rough postseason. Chapman had his moments this year where he was good. I mean, overall, the numbers look pretty good. Peebles come on at the end of the season, too. All these guys, and I mean, I say I'm not singling, well, and it is, I mean, Curley had a decent season. In the field, it was a roller coaster. Let's put it that way. At the plate, though, he had a pretty good season at the plate. I wish he was one of those we get a third year, but he'll be off to the draft. He is one of the draft eligible sophomores now. I hope so. I hope he's back next year. I mean, I know they'll have. You got to think any guy coming back, they're going to have those conversations on it. I'm a big Antigua guy, but it's probably he's probably at that point he's going to want to play. So we'll see where it's at. Yeah, Arkansas was a better team, no doubt about it. Yeah, Big Orange, appreciate you coming in today, man. Thanks for being on here. I will have plenty of. I'm going to get into more football content. I always say that. Right now, recruiting is amped up. That's kind of going to be it. But again, I know that portal season is probably you're going to see that pick up a lot now, especially with Tennessee out. I think you'll start hearing more visits this weekend. Where last year, they couldn't basically host visits for 2 weeks. They could get some midweek ones in, but then now with the season over, they'll be able to host them visits. And with portal guys, they're normally in and out anyhow. So, I kind of wondered about that too. I thought about Curley in the outfield also with it. I kind of thought about that. You could have went. I mean, Bargo's in. You could have went Bargo third. I would have put Marin on short, Keelan second. Obviously, you had Fisher at first. And then Curley in left field. I would have been. I thought the same thing. Gabe, I thought the same thing. Yeah, I mean, Arkansas year in, year out, they're there. I mean, honestly, it's surprising to me that they've not won a championship right now, but they will get one. They will. It's a matter of time. We see those teams in every sport who you wonder, you think this is their year, and something happens, and then they finally get over that hump. I mean, you can look at Tennessee baseball last year for, 4 straight years, including last year. It was like, 2022 seemed like Tennessee was the team. And then all of a sudden, the Notre Dame series happened. 2023, I mean, I thought that was a really good coaching job for them to get there that year because the thing with that Tennessee team was they started SEC play slow, but at the end they were playing some of their better baseball with it. And then, I wouldn't sleep on Coastal Carolina. I wouldn't, but I still think LSU, Arkansas, who comes out of that, is my pick on it. But Coastal just went and beat a good Auburn team. So it wouldn't surprise me on it. Coastal can play some baseball. That's the beauty about baseball too, is it's not the same. You can see these mid majors, so to speak, make a run with it. I mean, your Coastals, your East Carolinas. I mean, I know there's others, that we see each year. You see the Murray State this year as they bounce back today and beat Duke like 19-9, which is crazy. So that's what I love about college baseball is you never know, man. I mean, like a Wright State, for example. We almost saw that with Wright State back in 2021, and we had that miraculous ending to it. They ended Vanderbilt this year. So, there's talent around the country. There really is. It's just a matter of where it is. But I think if Arkansas doesn't have that moment that they've had, just something weird happening on it, I think they're going to be really hard to beat. I think they're better than LSU, but I don't say that mildly. LSU is really good too. One of those two to me is going to be that should be a heck of a game when it starts, and I'm assuming that it starts this weekend. Let's see, College World Series dates. I would think Friday. Normally they play a couple on Friday. Yep, Friday the 13th there as well. And then it'll run through possibly the following Monday, the 23rd. So you'll probably see a couple games on Friday. I'm trying to think how they do that. You've got, 8 teams that make it. So you'll see one half of the bracket on Friday and the other half on Saturday, and then they'll kind of rotate days until they get to the World Series part of it. Yeah, Florida. There's been some good series. Florida State, Oregon State's a good one. I saw UCLA. You see a team like UTSA beat Texas twice, and then UCLA beat them. Beat them 2-0. I'm kind of surprised by that. Oh yeah, the drop. Yeah, I remember that one too. And just sometimes it's that weird luck. Things happen with it, but we'll see. I think when it's all said and done this year, I think we'll have said that we lost to one of the eventual champions in it. But at that point, too, you get to Omaha, all 8 teams are good. All 8 teams are really good on it. Arkansas's got a lot of pitching depth. I think that their depth, to me, and it seems to be getting stronger. LSU's going to have it. LSU's always strong, too. It'll be, some of these teams, too. I don't think you can count anybody out at this point when you get there. And sometimes who's playing the best baseball, but a lot too, who has the most pitching depth. Really, when you get to Omaha, he gets tested a lot. And that's where we go, especially if you lose a game and have to come back through on it. That's where it gets tested pretty heavily with, because if you lose one, you possibly, to get to the World Series, if you lose that first game, may possibly have to play like 5 games before you even get to the World Series. So you're going to spend some pitching at that point, no doubt about it. So I think I'm going to wrap up on that one, guys, but I appreciate you tuning in today. Pretty crappy ending to the season, but sometimes, like I said again, it's easier for me to not be as worked up when you get your teeth kicked in. And, sometimes you just got to take it and deal with it. And, but still, I would say a decent season for Tennessee. It was, anytime you get to the supers, it's hard to say. I know that where the expectations are for Tennessee baseball, but you're just not in baseball going to make it every year. We saw it with 2022, how good that team was, and it didn't make it. So it's a tough sport to get there. Man, you're way late on these guys. Yeah, I'm not going to apologize for having confidence in Tennessee to play on Monday. I'm not apologizing for it. I've watched the team. I believed in the team. I believed they would come out. We had our ace on the mound today on it. I'm not apologizing for having confidence that that team would win today. Yeah, they got their teeth kicked. It was a big swing and a miss. I will never stop having confidence in a Tony Vitello team to get there or not. Congrats to Arkansas. I'm not apologizing for that. All right. I will, every time Tennessee season's on the line, I will have my faith in Tennessee and Tony Vitello to move on. Just the same as I guarantee Arkansas would theirs as well. I'm out on that one. Have a great rest of your evening. It's still a great day to wear the orange.